Hey everyone, Mark Marshall with theproaudiofiles.com and guitaristmarkmarshall.com. Last week I had a session with my good friend Nick Oddy, who's an awesome composer and member of the band Zammuto. We got together and wanted to explore making some ambient guitar atmospheres, with the concept being using these for scoring film or some other abstract uses. The idea was to try to make the guitar not sound like a guitar at all, and we were going to employ a lot of different processing to achieve this. I'm going to show you some video of our setup and the way that we achieved the live manipulation of the sounds. Now, the one thing that's worth noting about this is I was in the live room with a bunch of effects set up, and Nick was in the control room. He also had a bunch of effects patched in and recorded to separate tracks that he was manipulating live on the fly. So the cool thing was, as I would do something, he would hear something and respond to it, and I would hear that back on the phone, so I would react differently. So there was this cool cycle going on of us creating these otherworldly effects and feeding off each other. So check this out in the first installment, and next week I'm going to open up the Logic session and rip them apart a little more and talk about how we can manipulate all these tracks that we developed from this session. Now here's my signal chain for these ambient guitar tracks we're recording today, and I have a pretty long chain of effects here. I'm first running into this wah-wah. I'm using the ZVEX Fuzz Factory, into this Creation Audio Grizzly bass pedal, and I'm basically using that to tame the Fuzz Factory sometimes. This could be a little harsh, so basically I've cut out a lot of the highs and sucked a little of the mids out, and actually right now I have quite a bit of gain on it. I have the Super Trum, the tremolo. I'm using this ZVEX Lo-Fi Loop Junkie for kind of like an old world warped record sound. The Strymon El Capitan for loop and weird tape effects. The Effectro Tube Drive, which generally stays on. I'm kind of using that just as a front end amp, a little warmth. Now we're using this Eventide H9 Max, which we're controlling on a stand here via iPad, so I can control some of the parameters. Right now for this ambient stuff we're using a lot of the harmonization effects and just tweaking the key and tempo. And from the H9 it's going into this Tube Spring Reverb, which sometimes is on or off, and then we're going into the Victoria 35-115 combo with a 15-inch speaker, tweed amp, and it's mic'd with a Cascade Fathead. Right now there's the dry sound with the tube drive on. I'm using the wah-wah sometimes. This is the really broken, nasty sound of that. There's the Grizzly bass, the tremolo, the lo-fi, the El Capitan. Sometimes what I do is this. And then we have this H9. And just using various combinations of these.
Alright, so there's your dry signal. This is just your guitar, whatever you had. Now, I'm not sure what you were playing. It sounds pretty...
Harmonizer, may have been a little slight delay on it. Overdrive, gentle.
So the Eventide H3000 DSC from the late 80s, I think 87, 88, something like that. Once belonged to, bought it from Laurie Anderson, from her and Lou Reed's studio. I think this is, I'm not sure what the effect is. I was kind of dancing around while you were playing. I mean, it's obviously some sort of a chorus, but I'm not sure specifically what patch it was. But anyway.
So you have things split up. So you have the dry guitar track.
Right, so we've got the dry guitar track. This is it right here. The dry guitar track had a bus sent to this box to get that effect. Then this box had a bus going to, stereo bus going to the Lexicon LXP1 reverb, and that's this. that's your guitar into the H3000, into the reverb, but just the reverb isolated. And we can get all sorts of wonderful combinations. Looks like we got something on the PCM41 here, which is a digital delay, also by Lexicon. Not sure what it's doing. Let's see. Oh, sort of the delay with the LFO, or the VCO on it, making a little it's oscillating. So there you got. Guitar.